Let's learn to create an Azure storage account. I am currently logged into the Azure portal. On the left hand side, you will see all the services associated with Microsoft Azure. Of course, there are a lot more services than these, which can be found in the All Services section. To create an Azure storage account, click on the storage account on the left hand side. It will then take you to another blade or a screen that will let you create more storage accounts here. I already have a storage account. Now this storage account was created when I used Azure Shell to create and provision virtual machines in the previous section. To create a new storage account, I just have to click on add, and this will pop up another section or a blade where I can type in the name, resource group, location, performance attributes, etc. that are required for a storage account to be created. I'll choose a subscription as pay as you go. I will create a new resource group, call it as data store. Say OK. Storage account name. Make sure that this is in lowercase and has no special characters. So if I mouse over this I icon, it will tell you what the requirements of the storage account name are. I'll just give it a name like information hosting. And if somebody else has taken this name, will not get it. That means that this name must be unique and nobody else in the world of Azure must have used it. I'll choose the location as East US, but you can leave it to default. Performance, you can choose between standard and premium, which we discussed earlier. Account kind is general purpose V2, V1 or blob storage. V2 will give me all the features that Azure storage account has as on today. The replication options are not discussed so far, but will be discussed moving forward in the subsequent videos. I'll leave it to LRS, which is local redundant storage at this time. Access tier, we can choose between cool or hot. Again, this hasn't been discussed, but we'll talk about this later. Then we have the networking section. Do you want this storage account to be available on the internet? And if it should be available only in the intranet, then we select the particular networks which are available in our subscription. But if you want your information in the storage account, in your blobs and files to be available all over the internet, then you select public endpoint all networks. If it is private data, confidential, sensitive, patents, intellectual properties, in that case you select selected networks. I'll click on next to move to the advanced section. Now here we have three options: security, data protection, and data lake storage generation 2. Do you want your data to be securely transferred when transmitting data between the storage account to other networks? By default, it is enabled. Data protection, do you want soft delete? So when you enable this, it will let you retain the deleted data for a certain number of days. So any file that has been accidentally deleted can be recovered after the set number of days specified here. So you can scroll all the way to the right to move it to maximum 365 days. So the data that can be retained in this soft deleted section is for 365 days, after which it will be cleaned up. So this is the retention period of your data. I will move it back to the default setting, which is disabled. If your data sitting in your Azure storage account is for analytical purposes, is something that needs to be calculated and is massive in size, then you can connect it to Azure Data Storage Lake Generation 2. This will help you analyze and give information back to you at millisecond latency. So the data lake storage will help developers, data scientists, and analysts to store data of any size, shape, and speed and do all types of processing and analytics across multiple platforms and languages. I will change it back to default, set it to disabled, and click on next. Tags, as we discussed earlier in the previous sections, tags are used to mark and tag your objects. So I can say that the name is storage and then owner of the storage account is Rob. You can put their email address and say rob at company.com as their email address. So similarly, you can add multiple tags here to the object that we are creating. So this will create a CMDB for me. Finally, you click on Review and Create, and after the validation, you'll click on Create to create the storage account. Looks like the storage account is created. I'll click on Go to Resource to go to my storage account called Information Hosting. Now, as you scroll down, you will be able to see blobs, files, tables, and queues. So that means that General Purpose version 2 will let me create all the full services inside the storage account.